And sometimes I get asked the question, videos versus graphics, what's better? Should I have a bunch of videos? Should I have graphics? A graphic is just like a picture. And the answer there is, again, so copywriting, what I've just said there, is the definition of that is text content. If you ever hear someone throwing down the word of, oh, my ad copy needs improving, or we'll get the copy wrote for that, that just means text wrote for marketing purposes, so you can get copy on websites. Every time I do an event, I always say I'm going to Google why it's called copy, because I don't know, and I never do. So copywriting, I don't know why it's called that. To write your framework, to write that primary text, a good place to start, because I suppose, again, there's no real rules, but this helps as like to get a solid basis. This is called the ADA framework. You might have heard of it. It's a classic copywriting formula that's been around since it's older than me, probably older than like everyone in the room. It stands for attention. So, for example, you might start off just as a question, attention so-and-so, or do you remember them pain points, feed into psychographics we were talking about earlier, feed into one of some of them things, what are the goals, do you have so-and-so, do you want such and such, have you seen this, something that's snappy and grabs their attention. Interest is then saying, oh, what happens if I could tell you something that, or we could show you something, or you could do something that stopped that pain point or helped you towards that particular, that goal, like wet the whistle a little bit. Desire is then sort of saying, like, painting that picture of the other side. So imagine if you're on the other side, we've done something that's going to turn you into one of our 1,000 happy clients. And one thing that's good here is, see where I've just put a formula that helps thousands of our happy clients. Social proof. It's slipping in that social proof and credibility. One of the strongest and most impactful uses of social proof is when it's implied. If you're saying to someone, look, I've got loads and loads of reviews, I've got loads of people saying I'm class. It's not standoffish, but it's not natural. But if you slip in just some things like, oh, loads of people are talking about X, Y, Z, it's that implied. There's an interest here, and that's a good use case for it. And then action is so motivate them onto the next step. Click through and get a quote. Then you have the main body of the ad. Now, sometimes your primary goal is initially to stop the scroll, grab their attention, and then talk to them. So that could be an eye-catching graphic. It could be a start of a video, a hook, rather than just showing them a still image or feeding in. Have something that's eye-catching. That's like a bit of a broad statement at the beginning. I always say there are no rules to like when you get creative, and so this is actually an ad. We've spent quite a bit of money on this ad. Who would if you had a marketing team that said we want to help you download a book and they presented you that, what do you think your reaction would be? It didn't take that long to make, but we have a few ads that have been working quite well. So where you want to get to is like having oftentimes, a person will see a few of your ads before they actually take action. So sometimes you'll find people saying, "Oh, which ad's the best? Which one are people clicking through?" They'll usually have seen like 1, 2, or 3 of your ads before they've actually pulled the trigger on it. So we have like a good family of ads that generate sort of quite a good results. But then when we see some like the CPL rising and some of the leads dipping off, we'll try and be a bit creative to how we can bolster that back up. One of the tips is this idea is have you ever heard of something called an ugly ad? On Facebook and Meta, and with like big companies coming onto the site, a lot of the advertisements you see are very, very sleek, very corporate, very like they've been seen by a board of people before they've been approved to go on the system. Do you know, like when you're on TV? So everyone gets like, your brain gets used to seeing an ad because like it doesn't look like a normal social media post. It's very sleek, it stands out. So you just filter out. So things like ugly ads, and again, be careful on the gimmicky side, but that type of thing captures your attention, and so the idea that we've got another one. It's like a cut of an email. So it's like, "Hi Bob, you mentioned you were interested in property. This is a free book you can download." And so like everyone's used to that sort of familiar environment of an email, so it catches their eye. But then we also have the testimonial videos, the high quality video ads that go along with it. This is just some things we're testing as well. And I thought it'd be funny to show you. And sometimes I get asked the question, videos versus graphics, what's better? Should I have a bunch of videos? Should I have graphics? A graphic is just like a picture. And the answer there is, again, they're a family, so the family of ads. You ideally have like, a couple of videos and a couple of ads, but when the question is which one does better, it's literally a mix. So sometimes we'll do campaigns where the video wins hands down on like getting clicks. Other times, we've got an advert that's been, Sam made it in about 10 minutes, and like last June. It's been tweaked and adapted over time, but it's just like, it's an ad graphic. I think I've got a picture of it in like It's this one, yeah. So this is when I come on to some of the little rules. But it's literally just a picture of Steve in one of the other businesses of Steve saying, why haven't you signed up? And like, whereas he's got, you know, videos he spent days on, and like of content where he's captured in the room of testimonials and people, and on stage with some quite witty one-liners and some good content in there. And this is always on par with like the best of those sort of videos. And the reason isn't because this is just generating loads of clicks. It's because people might have watched those videos, and if a video is like 2-3 minutes long, oftentimes you might watch a bit of a video and like be like, oh yeah, that's quite good, and then scroll away before you actually get to the call to action bit at the end. So what this ad's very good at doing is going after those people who've watched the video and then getting them to just pull the trigger. So you might look and say, oh, this graphic's working really well, but this video, it's not as good as that. It's you know, your client's probably seen, you know, 1, 2, or 3 of the ads. So going back to that, there are a couple of like points you want to be hitting on when you're making an ad, and they are, one, making sure the ad's the correct size. So Facebook does like free sizes. If you don't submit your ad in the correct formatted ways, then Facebook's just going to take your video and like crop it. So if you're scrolling on Facebook, you might see someone show flash text on a screen and the text is cropped. That's because they haven't done this. Yeah, it does seem like a bit of a chew on, but it doesn't take that long. And then when you have like a structure of like a bit of a template of how when you're making your ads, you can do it relatively quickly.